Hey guys, today we're going to be dealing with negative fractions, specifically multiplying and dividing when it comes to these notes. I hope this looks familiar to you because this is very similar to what yesterday's notes looked like. And if you remember, we talked about having rules for when we multiply and divide negative numbers, whether that's decimals and in this case also fractions. We have rules for them. And so I went ahead and duplicated this just for repetition and to make sure that we understand this. But I'm going to go through the rules one more time. A negative multiplied by a negative results in a positive. And if you don't want to remember all of those rules, here's how you can avoid that and still get the right answer and remember what to do. This triangle method is a good visual representation of what we're talking about here. If I have a negative multiplied by a negative, I still will have a positive, just like yesterday in our decimal work. If I have a negative fraction and I multiply it by a positive fraction, a negative multiplied by positive gets me my answer as a negative fraction. And this should also be common sense, but a positive fraction multiplied by a positive fraction is a positive answer. Alright. Here's what we do when we multiply with fractions. This should be review. Hold on. Should be review of last week when we multiplied positive fractions. It's the exact same rules, we just have to remember these extra rules here on the left. We are going to multiply straight across. My numerator times the numerator of each fraction. 3 times 2 is 6, and 5 times 3 is 15. Now let's look, is this going to be a positive or negative answer? Let's look over here on our rules. A negative multiplied by a positive results in a negative answer. So my answer here is negative 6/15. However, when it comes to fractions, we have to always make sure we can simplify. In this case, we can. Can you think of a number that we can divide that goes into the top number and into the bottom number? That number should be 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 15 divided by 3 is 5. And my answer here is negative, so my answer here is also negative. My answer here is negative 2/5 when you multiply negative 3/5 by 2/3. Okay? Let's look at dividing. When we divide fractions, these rules are the exact same as these. A negative divided by a negative results in a positive. A negative divided by a positive results in a negative. And a positive divided by a positive is positive. Those do not change when you multiply or divide. Remember the rule that we have to use when dividing fractions. Because dividing fractions like this is very confusing and not very helpful. So we do something else. We are able to multiply by the reciprocal of our divisor. Because remember, multiplying, dividing can be interchanged if you use the reciprocal. The reciprocal of 5/6 is 6/5. So I'm going to rewrite this, negative 2/3 multiplied by the reciprocal 6/5, and then we do the exact same thing we did right here. We go straight across. 2 times 6 is 12. 3 times 5 is 15. Now let's look and see, is this answer going to be positive or negative? We have a negative here. We have a positive here. And that results in a negative answer. Is this simplified? No, it is not, unfortunately. What can we divide by? 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4, and 15 divided by 3 is 5. Now remember, our answer was negative, so we need to keep the negative there. And our answer here is negative 4/5.